And I think we have Marc Morano with us. Yeah, oh, there he is. Marc Morano is the producer of the film Climate Hustle that just came out, and the publisher of the Climate Depot website, climatehustle.com. You can tweet him at Climate Depot. Fun facts, Marc has a degree in political science. He's not a scientist. He's a communications director for the libertarian lobbying group Committee for Constructive Tomorrow, funded in part by ExxonMobil, Chevron, Chrysler, and Ford, and was a producer for Rush Limbaugh and part of swift-boating John Kerry. Hey, Marc. Good to have you back with us.
You got some of that right. You got some of that right.
What did I get wrong?
Lobbyist. I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a registered lobbyist. I don't lobby legislation.
I never said you were a lobbyist.
I'm an idea man.
I never said you were a lobbyist.
You said CFAC was a lobbying organization, my parent company, something. You said the word lobbying.
I think I said Climate Lobby, and I meant Climate Depot.
Oh, okay.
But whatever. Okay, so you're not a lobbyist. So, Marc, you know, we've been talking for years. We used to debate climate science. I don't do that anymore. But
Donald Trump.
I find this fascinating that Donald Trump's not a scientist either. That CEOs can now be prosecuted like war criminals at the Hague for things like environmental destruction. How long do you think it's going to be before Jen Inhofe is arrested and held at the Hague? And are you concerned about your own personal future, promulgating these lies from ExxonMobil and these other companies that fund your efforts that they've known were lies for at least 40 years?
Let's see. Well, first of all, no, I like small spaces. I'll be fine. In fact, when I interviewed Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he said we were going to get 3 square meals and a cot at the Hague with all the other war criminals. You know, I actually like to eat 5 small meals a day, but I think we can make arrangements there.
So you're ready for the Hague?
What did ExxonMobil know? In 1971, I believe it was Rasool and Schneider did a study for the federal government saying that a doubling of CO2 would essentially saturate in the atmosphere and not have it cease to basically have a significant warming effect after that. In other words, a climate catastrophe was not known. In the 1970s, they would have known all about, carbon-based fuel.
Marc, you can go on and on and on. What we know is that Exxon knew back in the 70s or 80s that their product was warming the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we know it now, Marc. We know it now. You know, the product of the people who are funding you and that you're a front man for
would have known,
is
Exxon would have known that tornadoes
all.
and floods and droughts were being blamed on global cooling, as the CIA did back in the 1970s. They would know that top climatologists at the time were blaming extreme weather on global cooling. They would know that we would have more wars likely
so in other words,
to global cooling.
Marc, it sounds to me like you're fairly unrepentant. All the money coming from ExxonMobil and Coke Industries and whatnot.
And I know that's where you want to come. You want to jail skeptics. You want to jail anyone who dissents from your worldview. And it's a sick, twisted mind that would actually want to jail anyone who disagrees. I mean, there's plenty of places around the world. I never thought America would be one of them, but Thom, you're leading the brigade, and it's kind of sad that you.
There you go, Marc. Right now, right as we speak, there are people dying as a result of climate change. You had over 1 million farmers in Syria. Marc, you can talk over me all you want, but I'm just going to ask Shano to pot you down when you do. This is not Fox News. But you've got, in northern Syria, you've got over 1 million farmers who got displaced from their property and ended up in the major cities. And now the same thing happened in Tunisia. We called it the Arab Spring. It was actually global warming. You've got climate refugees coming out of Bangladesh. You've got climate refugees in Pakistan. You've got Miami beaches starting to get flooded, for God's sake. At least they've got the money to pay for roads and pumps that they're putting in. People are being harmed right now by what you are doing.
Utter and complete nonsense, and you know it, Thom. Climate, floods in Miami. What are you talking? There's always been refugees due to bad weather. On every metric, from droughts, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, not only are we not on increasing trends, we're actually on declining trends. That's hugely true of tornadoes, true of hurricanes, and even global droughts are down.
The frequency may be declining, the intensity is increasing because there's 5%, 6% more moisture in the atmosphere than there was in 1980, so the severity of storms is worse.
The United Nations agrees. They're not worse. And the idea that Syria, so the Middle East was a peaceful place before we worried about global warming. That's your implication there. There's been droughts in the history of man. In 1933, the Syrian government blamed droughts on yo-yos. They actually banned yo-yos because they thought they caused drought. Thom, you are no better than the 1933 government of Syria because you think our SUVs are causing all this bad weather. It's akin to modern witchcraft. You should really be embarrassed.
Yeah. Okay. Mark, good talking with you. And interesting to see that you're completely unrepentant on this and that you're continuing to propagate these lies. I'm frankly astonished, but if people want to check it out, they can do so at climatehustle.com. Marc Morano. Mark, thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, Thom.
Good luck. We'll be back.